watching another movie of the week, and the movie of this week was You've Got Mail from 1998. So if you haven't watched it, watch it now. If you are new to movie of the week, we talk about a movie here. You guys comment your thoughts, and we do a different movie every week. And in 2025, we're doing different romance movies. So we've done You've Got Mail. I wanted to do You've Got Mail because we got Sleepless in Seattle, and I feel like there's a lot of similarities to them, more so than just like it's the same two main characters. But it's kind of crazy that like Sleepless in Seattle was such a big hit, big movie, and then they brought them back to do another rom-com because clearly they have chemistry, and it's kind of something where it's like Ryan Gosling and like Emma Stone, how they like keep coming back together in movies because they have this chemistry. And I talked about it because I think we recently did Crazy Stupid Love, so I was talking about it there. And yeah, so it's kind of crazy that they brought them back and did a movie together. This might be a controversial opinion. I actually like You've Got Mail more than Sleepless in Seattle. If you haven't watched my Sleepless in Seattle review, maybe you should do that first before you watch this one. Obviously, last year in 2024, we're doing reboots and sequels and things like that, so it's a lot more comparison than this year. This year we've done, romance, but I try my best to compare different romance movies here, so that way we can like really discuss them. And so clearly I'm going to compare Sleepless in Seattle, so that's why it might be good if you haven't watched that video to watch that now. Kind of my critique with Sleepless in Seattle is that they're kind of like so apart, like the entire movie, like they barely have any scenes together, and then they just kind of get together in the end. We don't really see them together. So this is the opposite of it, but it's kind of the same. It has similarities in some ways because Sleepless in Seattle, clearly they're not together for most of it, and it's like this thing where it's like kind of a little bit like small things to make it work. And I did discuss how like the writing had to like really be logical and think it through and everything. So in this, they were like typing online, and it's something that this is like can only be done. Like it's so interesting that it's like the late 90s when this got started, and people with email and computers, and it's so crazy that like that was then. And I think that kind of reminds me of like, I don't know, maybe dating apps. It was reminding me of something, but now I'm completely forgetting it. And clearly with dating apps, oh, you know what it was reminding me of? It was reminding me of Love is Blind, not dating apps, Love is Blind. Because in Love is Blind, they can't see each other. And so it's kind of the same way where like they can't see each other. Obviously with Love is Blind, they can like hear each other. So it's a little bit more than just like messaging online, because I kind of feel this way with dating apps too. Is like sometimes when you send, or in just general life, when you send messages, like sometimes they're not taken correctly, or like it's kind of hard sometimes to be sarcastic or tell the joke, and you got to do the lol because maybe they don't realize it. But when you're talking with someone, you can hear the emphasis, you can hear the sarcasm in the voice. And so that's at least with something with Love is Blind. Even though they can't see the person, they can hear it. But when you're messaging online, you kind of don't have that. But they were kind of like maybe not as much just saying jokes, more just talking about their life or whatever. Even though they kept being like, we're not saying too much about ourselves, but like you're literally talking about your life, so whatever. So it's more comparison with Love is Blind, and that's what I was making me think of. But it's such a thing where it's like, I think if you watch this movie and you're maybe like younger than me, or like 10 years younger than me or whatever, and you're watching this movie for the first time, or even in the future, it's like this is what people did, like this is the intervention of emails. And like you can kind of see also like the criticism from her boyfriend, and like criticism of some people like with technology. And now we have like freaking AI, and I'm someone who's so critical of AI. Like I hate AI, I hate robots. Like we have watched movies about robots taking over the world, and like AI is a start. And like I don't understand how people don't see this as a problem. AI is stealing our jobs. For some reason, AI is getting into creatives. Like I feel like if you're gonna use AI to cure cancer. Like that's what I'm thinking. But AI is like writing our emails. AI is trying to be an AI actress in movies. Like that is insane to me. Like no AI actor. Like it's I'm sorry. In the future when AI becomes everything, and then I'm gonna get canceled for hating AI. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so it's something where it's also enemies to lovers, and I feel like we haven't done that many this year. There was maybe one other point where it's like, I'm not exactly sure the romantic trope, but maybe it's this. So maybe I think I said enemies to lovers, but this is like true enemies to lovers, and it's kind of interesting because it's like enemies to lovers, but I think they had this other thing where it's like them messaging each other. It kind of also reminded me. Well, I'll get into a little bit later, but it's kind of interesting where like most enemies to lovers, you know, there's like this point where then they kind of switch and they like fall for each other, but the enemies to lovers only changed once he realized it was like her that he was messaging. So it's kind of interesting. And then he like continues messaging her, and it's kind of, he knows it's her, but she doesn't know it's him. And it kind of reminds me of like Clark Kent and Lois Lane, because like he knows he's Superman, he knows he's Clark Kent, or like the Blur. And I'm talking mostly Smallville. And he's like messaging Lois Lane, and she's like messaging him, but then also has feelings for Clark Kent, and it's like interesting, and like he knows it's him, but it's like kind of like it's just it's kind of like you're falling for the two of them, but it's really the same person. So it's kind of the same concept here. And so yeah, we see these enemies to lovers. They're fighting over bookstores, and the bookstore is clearly supposed to be like Barnes and Noble. And it's so funny now too, because like there's nothing about bookstores. Like a small bookstore, especially if it was only children's books, like those don't exist anymore. Like most Barnes and Nobles are gone. Like there's like 2 in the city now or something. I don't know. So it just kind of, that was what they were fighting on. But yeah, they were true enemies to lovers, but then they were like messaging on the side, and he realizes that it's her first because they're supposed to meet up. And then he continues to message her, and then he also like kind of becomes her friend, which is something too, which, you know, it's kind of good, not enemies straight to lovers, like this kind of friendship, where she was even at the end was like, I was hoping it was you. So it's kind of like, that's why I like it better than Sleepless in Seattle, because they're actually together. I love enemies to lovers. Like that is my favorite trope. I don't know why. So it just feels more real and everything. So this video is getting long. You know, comment below your thoughts about You've Got Mail. I'm probably missing like lots of things. Also there was like this weird thing with like his father and his grandfather and like the kid situation. So that was kind of weird. But it's also, it kind of reminded me because in Sleepless in Seattle, he's a father, and in this one, he's obviously not a father. But he like kind of has that like paternal thing going, so it's kind of, there's so many similarities. Parker Posey is so funny. But anyway, I'm gonna end it here, and then the movie for next week is Eyes Wide Shut from 1999. So very different direction than the rom-coms we've been doing. We've done so many rom-coms this year, but I always say they're all so different. And even this one that is similar to Sleepless in Seattle with the same characters, not characters, I should say, actors, not the same characters. There's still so many differences, as even though there is similarities, still differences. So anyway, comment below your thoughts about You've Got Mail, and then watch Eyes Wide Shut for next week. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and bye.